All right, I don't know about all of you, but I am in absolute shock right now. It is around 11:30 on Saturday night, and Jared Goff just got traded to the Lions from Matt Stafford. And not only that, the Rams traded a 2021 third, a 2022 first, and a 2023 first. And I just didn't believe that people thought that there was such a big difference between Goff and Stafford. I'm a big Stafford fan, and I'm not too high on Goff myself, but I wouldn't think for two guys that had pretty comparable stats, that there would just be such a discrepancy in the picks between the two, and the impact that this is going to have. This set the tone for the entire offseason. I'm a Jet fan. Zero chance I think the Jets should go for Watson now, because if the Jets are looking at this trade and what the Rams just had to give up for Stafford, who's a great quarterback, I believe, he's definitely easily top 15, borderline top 12, top 10, but Watson is obviously more valuable than Stafford. It's not close. I mean, in age and talent, I mean, to me, Watson's top five. I believe he's in most people's top five, or he should be, in my opinion. But the Jets would have to give up like 4 first-round picks, maybe more, honestly, with that. 2 first and Goff. And to compare their stats, I have them up in front of me. Goff played in 15 games this year, so one last game. He threw for 20 touchdowns. Stafford threw for 26, so Stafford takes a considerable win in that. Goff had 13 picks. Stafford only had 10. Again, big win for Stafford. But in yards, they're very close. I mean, Goff had 3,952 and Stafford had 4,082. The reason I say that that's pretty close, I mean, they're within 100 already, but Goff played one less game. So if you take that into consideration, then more than likely Goff would have passed Stafford. I don't think he was going to throw for 60 yards. Goff did win in completion percentage. He had 67%. Stafford only had 64.2. And then in rushing yards, they had practically the same, but Goff had 4 rushing touchdowns and Stafford had 0. So stats are relatively similar, and stats aren't everything, but I would say that they had pretty similar offenses where good receivers, with Stafford having Galladay and Marvin Jones as his top 2 guys, and Goff having Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp as his top 2, Cam Akers, and, there's running back by committee over there with Swift and Peterson and whoever else, Kerryon Johnson. I didn't watch many Lions games this year, so I'm not too sure who else they had in the mix. But Stafford had a pretty good offense. I believe his offensive line was middle of the pack. I could be wrong about that. But his team as a whole was obviously much worse, and throughout his career, he's obviously had a much worse team. But I am just truly shocked that the Rams gave up that much for Stafford. Now, I don't believe that, I don't believe in general in, determining a winner of a trade as soon as it happens, unless it's the Jamal Adams trade, because way too much for safety. But, and he's not just a safety. I'm not just a salty Jets fan. Like, he was a great player. He's amazing. He's one of the better safeties in the league, but still, for his position, it's just, I thought that was way too much, even at the start. But stay on point. With Stafford and Goff, like, to just give up 2 first and a third, I mean, is a ton. That in itself, I thought you'd be able to get Stafford for I thought the Broncos would have given up the 9th pick in the draft and been able to get him if they were interested in him. Or if the Colts wanted to give their first and a third, I thought they could get it done. To get 2 first, a third, and Goff is just very surprising to me. I guess I understand where, McVay must have a very high opinion on Stafford and believe that, he could take the Rams from that divisional round to true Super Bowl contenders next season. I guess that's the pitch that he made to the front office. And I do think it's very possible. A Stafford-led Rams team, to me, is certainly better than the team that they put on the field this past year, assuming that everything else stays the same. It won't, but just in that sense, where I believe I have more confidence in the Rams being able to go to the Super Bowl now at Stafford. And if they were to win a Super Bowl from this, obviously they won the trade automatically. Unless, the Lions are able to do even more, but confidence level in that isn't too high. But I think Goff, could have a good career over there. It depends how many guys they bring back. It depends if they bring back Jones and Galladay, how much success he'll have next season. But he's obviously younger than Stafford. He's been to a Super Bowl, even though he kind of got carried. But it's just, you would think, or at least I would think, if Stafford's borderline top 10, I don't think anyone has Stafford in their top 5. I would say he's somewhere in the 6 to 12 range for most people. With Goff, how far away is he? What is he, top 15 borderline? And he's 12 to 18. To me, he's definitely top 20. I would say I don't think I could name 20 quarterbacks in the NFL better than Jared Goff. He didn't have a bad season. I mean, the 13 picks, obviously, you'd want to get down, and he did seem to have a down year, but I don't know. I think it's a little much that they had to give up, but, there must have been other bidders that were willing to give up a similar amount for them to get the price that high, but could the Rams really win a Super Bowl with Stafford? I think so. So I think that, it wasn't too much to give up 2 firsts and a third, because if you're in a position to win a Super Bowl, I mean, Ramsey's not going to be there forever. Donald's not going to be there forever. These guys are only going to be in their prime for so many years. They have a pretty good team around them. They got a great coach, and they're in a very tough division. I mean, you need elite quarterback play in that division because Kyler Murray's a good quarterback. Russell Wilson's a great quarterback. We'll see what the Niners do. I don't believe they're going to keep Jimmy G. I think everyone believes they're going to move on. But they have a good team if they stay healthy. It's just they lost so many people from their staff now. But then for the Lions, this really helps them for the future, especially with, if you watch the Pat McAfee show, MCDC, Motor City, Dan Campbell, it helps them a lot because now they've an extra third this year and they get 2 firsts in the next 2 drafts. I don't know if it clears cap space. I don't believe so. I think they're taking on some cap because I think Goff has a bigger contract than Stafford. But I mean, they have the opportunity to be somewhat competitive next season. Depends what other moves they make in the offseason. If they are able to maintain Galladay and keep Marvin Jones, or if they're planning on moving on. I don't really know what they're gonna do. Maybe I think it's possible they could even trade Goff. I don't know if they're sold on Goff. That would be pretty crazy if they then turned around and traded Goff to try and get more picks to another team that would be willing to take him on. But I don't know who would want to do that. And I don't know if they would do that, but that'd be very interesting. I mean, the Lions have a decent future. It's just going to be, they have so many decisions to make. They're a very incomplete team in a tough division. So, it'll be tough to see because the Vikings made the playoffs the last couple years in a row, just missed last year. And Dalvin Cook was playing at almost an MVP level as a running back, at least in the second half of the season. Obviously Rodgers, the MVP, and they got to the NFC Championship, and even the Bears made the playoffs and have been competitive the last couple of years. So I think the Lions, in the short term, like next year, they'll be a pretty poor team. I would say after this trade, I mean, there's still so much left in the offseason to happen, but I would say less than 5 wins. And then the Rams, I would say the Rams, if they stay healthy and depending on the other moves, but, from just what I know right now, I'd say the Rams are in the NFC Championship next year. Definitely in the divisional again. So much that could still happen. I would say for sure NFC, the divisional round, and I'm not 100% sure past that, but um, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Who do you think won this trade? What do you think is going to happen next? What do you think is next for the Lions? What do you think's next for the Rams? And yeah, this sets a tone for the offseason. I believe it's going to be the craziest offseason in NFL history. I think there's going to be a lot of big quarterback moves still to come. There's so many guys that are going to get drafted in the top 10. Should be 4 quarterbacks that go in the top 10, if not, definitely top 15. And then just with the cap coming down, which most teams did not anticipate. Well, no one anticipated because of COVID. And then the fact that scouts weren't able to get the same look, and there's not a combine on these quarterbacks. They might not be willing to keep them, not keep them, to draft them. May not be 100% sure about them. So I believe this is going to be an insane offseason. This is crazy start, one of the biggest trades in NFL history. So like I said, let me know what you believe is going to come from this in the comments down below. And yeah, if you made it this far, thank you for watching. I appreciate you. And that's it. Take care.